The Brown Park Podcast is brought to you by Grow Clinics. They're Australia's leading hair transplant clinics, and you can go to growclinics.com.au. Hello.
G'day, mate. What do you got for me today?
Controversial figure on the show today.
Well, I don't think he's controversial. I love him.
His name's Pete Evans. He's divided a lot of people, and we've invited him on the show to talk cancel culture today. He's our guest on the Brown Park Podcast.
The Brown Park Podcast.
Question.
Hit me with it.
Are you nervous about today? You seem nervous about today.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm more nervous about you than the guest.
Really?
Well, yeah, for those listening,
Yeah.
Christo and I have differentiating opinions on...
There's a new word.
Different
opinions.
Different opinion. Hey, that's it. Look at me trying to be all intelligent. We have different opinions on quite a few different things, you know. And I guess we're a testimony to you can have a differentiating opinion. You got the word right.
Yeah, good try.
On various things and still be good mates.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
in today's world, it feels like if you say something out of the box or say something that maybe conflicts with somebody else's opinion, then you're wrong. You're cancelled. Get out of here.
Yeah. And you can't help being wrong, so that's fine. That's why we've got this guy on the show.
Jesus, between you and my wife, I have no hope. I swear to God.
Pete Evans, welcome to the show,
Mate.
Hey guys, how are you?
Very good. Are you on your farm?
I am, yeah. We've been living on a farm now this is our second one, for the last sort of 10, 11 years, and it's awesome. I mean, I grew up on the Goldie in the suburbs and lived in Melbourne in the suburbs and then closer to the cities as well. And I'm 51 now. In the last 10, 11 years since I was 40, been living on land. First block of land we had was 25 acres, which was a great apprenticeship into looking after land, my wife and I. She's a Kiwi girl and she grew up on the farm, so I have to thank her for this transition. And I love it. And the property we're on now is 200 acres, give or take.
Is it?
And in the rainforest. And you definitely do an apprenticeship when you're managing a property like this too, and you learn some new skills very, very rapidly. And with a great community around us, you can lean on them to teach you things. And so I'm becoming a bit of a jack of all trades instead of just being specialised in a couple of things for the first 40 years of my life. Now I'm learning some much needed skills.
How long do you spend mowing the lawn on 200 acres?
We've got about 40 to 60 cleared on that. And so in summertime, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
The locals always say that you can actually hear the grass growing. In summertime, probably about 10 hours a week of mowing. And then in wintertime, like from anywhere from, say, mid-April to late August, early September, which is what we worked out, you can sort of get away with that sort of 10 hours every 2 months.
Do you have like the Roomba of lawnmowers that sort of you just put it out there, set and forget, and it does it all? Or do you have to get out there? Or are you old school and like, fucking I'm going to push the lawnmower and do this the way people used to do it? Or...
If you pushed a lawnmower on this block of land, you would never sleep and you would never get it done. So with great technology these days, we've got some amazing mowers. We've got a four-wheel drive one that comes out of Japan called the Razorback, and that does the hills, but it's pretty slow and it's pretty narrow. And then for the more gentler inclines and the flats, we've got two, and they're pretty expensive units. They're like 20, 25 grand and maybe even more these days. And they've got a big 60, 70-inch blade, cutting deck, and they go fast. So we're on hills. We're on our property's got a lot of hills and quite a bit of sort of gentle inclines and flats. So my wife and I take turns, or we're both out there on different machines at different times, and it is quite a meditative experience. Like you can actually go in there and have a great experience. You can listen to a podcast, you can listen to music, or you can just have your headphones on because they're quite noisy. But there's something very rewarding about the process of looking after your lawn or tending
It would
to.
be, yeah.
Because I mean, having land, appeals to me because I'd love to be out in the quiet. And by where you are, you're sort of close to the beach, so you get the hinterland experience and you get the ocean experience. But the thought of managing that, like the logistics of it, sounds like a real pain in the ass. But
not really. I mean, everything is based on your perception, right?
True.
Everything, right?
Yeah.
Some people, would dread doing this type of work, and that's just based on their perception on what they would prefer to be doing with their time. Whereas others, and I've met so many people that own land and look after their lawns or look after the land that they're on, and they get a huge buzz off it, and they feel like they're it's a positive for them. I love, and my wife loves mowing the lawns. How long will we like doing that for?
Yeah.
That's also one of the secrets of life, I think, is to be adaptable, to be able to tack when those things do not become pleasurable anymore.
Yeah. I just want to interrupt because Dion's about to...
I'm going to lose it. I'm just going to get my dog and
I can hear him going off, and I know his face so well. He's like going, I'm going to get this dog and I'm going to throttle it.
Perfect. I love it. It's meant to be. Welcome back, bro.
I was just saying I could see your face and you were about to fucking lose it then. That was
anyway, the wife told me to close the curtains out the front so that wouldn't happen. And clearly I don't take advice from my wife when I should.
Yeah. Now I want to ask a controversial question, Pete.
Oh, God. Here we go. Careful.
Bring it on.
Controversial question. My friend Dion here doesn't eat vegetables.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's the question.
Of any kind ever.
Yep. I'm a textural type of a dude, right? And as soon as I was old enough to say no to mum and dad, I said no.
How bad is this for somebody?
I'll state the facts here, and people can research this if they like. So in all the medical textbooks around the world, there is no such thing as an essential carbohydrate that human beings need to take to be healthy. Full stop.
Protein
and fat. They're essential amino acids and proteins. That's what our body thrives on. That's what we need to maintain our health. So when we look back through human history, the evolution of our species, the thing that we did to survive was to hunt and then gather. So hunting was always for the way that we expend energy. So human beings are quite lazy by nature. Most species are. We don't want to expend more energy than we need to survive, right? So, and this is an interesting thing about the fitness and health space. We have, I believe, back to front, so many fitness and health experts say that we should be working out, we should be getting our cardio up this many times, we should be punishing our bodies, we should be putting it under stress this many times, blah, 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 and it goes against our nature. I'm not saying that we shouldn't go for a sprint or play or dance or lift heavy things because that's what we always would have done. We would have built a shelter for us. Yeah. We would have been out there hunting something, so we would have sprinted.
Probably had to run from things, yeah.
we definitely never would have done a marathon or a triathlon or anything so unnatural to our bodies, because our bodies would be in pain after such an experience, and it causes undue stress for us. So
human bodies are kind of made for fight or flight, really, aren't they? Like you'd have to have the energy to run from, say, a bear.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we're actually really well designed to relax.
Yeah, you're preaching to the converted.
And to sleep. and to do as little as possible.
Yeah.
Except the fundamentals in which we need to survive, right? Yeah. So the idea of what would give us the most energy for the littlest output for us to get food was always hunting. So from a common sense point of view, the consumption of meat from land and or sea animals seems to be the smartest way of eating because, number one, it gives us what we need, the essential proteins and amino acids and fats. And if you look at what's happened over the last 3 or 4 decades in relation to mental health and the state of the Western populations and seeing how sick they are, what are the two things that they've really been pushing is a low-fat diet and a low-salt diet, for instance, but really they've pushed the low-fat movement, right? Our brains are 60 to 70% fat. What do we need to keep our brains healthy for longevity? And the answer is good quality saturated fats that come from animals. And there's obviously good plant-based fats as well, avocados, coconuts, olives, things like this that we can that have a good fat content. But nothing in this world trumps animal fat and protein for nutrients for a human being. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what is a species-specific diet for a human being? And we go back and look at our ancestors from all over the globe, and the one thing they had in common was none of them were vegetarians. None of them were heavy plant-based eaters. And a lot of these cultures would supplement, and here's the correct word, supplement with seasonal fruits and berries and some vegetables and things like this. But a lot of the vegetables that we eat these days have been hybridized and cultivated to be more palatable. And this is why the carnivore diet is having so much momentum these days, is because what's happened to the Western gut, if we want to call it that, our microbiome or our flora inside our guts, is the overuse of antibiotics, pesticides on our foods. Basically what that is doing is killing our gut microbiome. And the least inflammatory food on the planet for human beings is meat and seafood. And we're omnivorous, so we can eat both plants and animals. That's the definition of a human being if you look it up in the dictionary. For instance, Dion, you're on a meat-specific diet. We can thrive on that 100%. We can. But then it comes down to our belief system. If you have somebody telling you will not be healthy if you continue to eat meat, and you believe in everybody else's opinion, and that starts to filter into your own belief system, everyone's telling me I can't keep doing this, right? And if you believe the nonsense that people are saying, then there is the potential that you might suffer dis-ease, right? You take it on.
Well, because you are what you think, right? So and it's true, because my whole life it's been pushed down my throat. Dion needs to eat veggies. Dion needs to, otherwise you're going to get sick later on in life. But every time I go to the doctor, he does my blood pressure and then he turns it around and goes, "You bang on, it's perfect." And like all my blood tests come back generally. I mean, I had a low testosterone level a little while back, which we've fixed. But apart from that, all my bloods always come back perfect. And it's people and my wife's, my wife and parents over the years, they were like, "But it's going to come back and bite you in the bum when you're older." And I'm like, I'm fit and healthy now. I don't know. It's I'm with you.
You can do it for the rest of your life. And I'm not recommending the carnivore diet to everybody, right? Because each and every one of us is individual, and the underlying basis of who we are is what we think or believe. Our belief systems, our patterns that we perceive the world and express ourselves in this place in the world. So you might have a vegan or a vegetarian listening and going, "Fuck, that's really dangerous information. I'm thriving on a plant-based diet." Fucking congratulations. Keep going. If that is working for you, go for it, right?
Yeah.
If the carnivore is working for you, go for it. And going back to what I was saying before, if at any point in time that it doesn't deliver what you are after, you've got two choices. Stick with that belief, right, and carry that forward.
Yep.
And if it gets to the point where you hit rock bottom, then perhaps change your belief into, okay, I'll open up to perhaps eating meat, or I will open up to perhaps putting some vegetables in, or perhaps it's got nothing to do with that and it's the stress that I've got with my partner, my job choice. This is creating the dis-ease in my body, and it might not just be the food. So we all know the story of people that eat shit food, smoke, drink. They live to 100, they're happy, they're healthy. They might have a really good fucking partner or home life or career where they are loving being themselves, living in the moment, achieving what they want to achieve, whatever that may be. And the diet, it doesn't really matter what they're eating, because they're sort of ticking all the other more important boxes in their life. And on the flip side of that, we can have people that obsess about, got to be eating so many grams of protein and so many grams of fat per day to hit my macros. And I've met these fucking people, right? And they're obsessed to the point where they're missing out on the joy and the ease and the grace of life because they're so fucking focused on not doing anything wrong. My belief in this, and this is my belief, and everything that I say, please, if it doesn't resonate, let it go. Don't let it trigger you. Yeah, it's just my possession. But the celebration of life is to be you, or unapologetically you, authentically you, confident in your decisions because you are trusting your intuition, and it may piss off, Dion, might piss off your family, right? But when people stand in their authentic nature with confidence in their decisions and being open to change if they need to, life can become graceful instead of everything being a challenge or a hurdle or a battle,
A battle.
Water going down the stream, it just flows. And if we can get into that state of flow or state of grace and state of individuality of loving who you are and expressing that out there as a unique individual with your own beliefs and things, then I think that is what long-term regenerative and healthy state of mind and state of being and state of spirit, if you want to get into that, is the key for this. And it doesn't need to just be focused on diet.
It's become a bit of a joke, though, with us because it's like Dion will order. Example, on the weekend we went away, our two families went away, and he had lamb. And he said, does it come with vegetables? If it does, I want them separate. So he then went to when it got delivered, it had beans and peas and couscous and all that kind of stuff on the side. It was like macadamia or whatever. And he went to the bathroom and we just went, oh God, it's touching, quick. And we all scraped all the vegetables off onto my plate, I think it was. And he just came back to a piece of lamb and he goes, perfect, that's all I wanted. So it's just become a bit of a joke in our circle.
I myself and my wife, we're pretty much 95% carnivore ourselves. Like we just have a little bit of fruit and veggies from time to time, depending what's in season. But the majority of our food is it'll just be meat or seafood. We generally eat once a day, maybe twice a day maximum, or once and a half, and spend very little time in the kitchen. So we have time to do the other things that we love to do.
You need all the time to mow that lawn.
Exactly.
A couple of things that you said there. I suffer depression. And for a long time, I sort of I bottomed out a little bit. And I went to the doctor and the doctor said, let's look at your diet. And I was a vegetarian at that particular point in time. Obviously not a very good one because he said, look, what I'm going to suggest to you is controversial. He said, but lack of iron could be part of the reason why you're low. How long have you been a veggie? And I said, probably about stuff, but at that stage it was about 13 years. And he goes, this is going to be controversial. He said, but I just want you to, he said, are you opposed to eating meat? I said, no, I did it because of animals and stuff like that. And he goes, okay, so look, what I want you to do is jump back on meat just for 6 months. He said, we'll test your blood now because my iron was exceptionally low. And he said, we'll test it now and we'll test it in 6 months. He said, if you show no change and there's no difference in your blood work and everything like that, he said, then you can go back to it. And so I did it, went back on the meat. Iron, 6 months later, iron went through the roof, depression. Look, depression is not over because I don't think it's ever over. Mine's ingrained through generations of my family. But it's a lot more controlled than what it was. And I actually have felt better. Yeah. And vegetarians are going to come after us on this one. But I actually feel better being a meat eater than what I did as a veggie.
Perfect. Individual, and when we start to say that everybody should be doing something, we've just witnessed that over the last 4 years, and I don't need to revisit that. But when people tell you what you should be doing, that should raise alarm bells immediately because the one thing that we have is free will to choose however we wish to live this life, as long as we're not, hurting, physically or emotionally attacking somebody or invading their personal boundaries, But when we start to tell people what they should be doing, that word should is such a shit word that if we can remove that from our vocabulary, things would change very, very, very quickly. And if we could remove the word
and that's social media though, right? That's social media, and the Instagram is blowing it down there. Thinking you should be doing this just because they're trying to make a buck.
My take is we bring everything back to personal responsibility, right?
Yeah.
You just mentioned social media. There is no need for anybody on the face of the planet to have to use social media. It's a choice.
Yeah.
It is a personal choice if you wish to use social media, and then it is a personal choice of who you choose to follow. So when we can take 100% ownership of our life and the choices, every single choice that we've made in our life and will continue to make in our life without blaming anybody else, without becoming the victim and without becoming the fixer for anybody else on their journey, and we get into this state of neutrality, right, but also complete ownership, then that is 100% freedom. And again, I believe that leads to long-term healthy life. And when we don't have anyone else to blame but ourselves, and then we come to the realization that we can never make a wrong decision in our life or a mistake, as some people like to fucking call it, right? Because there are no such thing as mistakes. And every decision that we make, we own, and none of them have ever been wrong, and none of them ever will be wrong in the future. That there is true liberation, where we can, again, going back to it, we can flow. And I'm not saying that there won't be challenges or paths to navigate, because again, we are constantly in flow. And it's very difficult to be in balance when we are influenced by others and we allow that pressure from partners, loved ones, family, society, government, whatever it may be, to penetrate us and allow us to play that victim or play the fixer for other people as well.
This is the Brown Park Podcast. Now, a word from our sponsors.
We interrupt this podcast to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, Grow Clinics. Now, if you're tired of fighting the losing battle of hair loss, Grow Clinics offers advanced, results-driven hair transplant solutions with proven effectiveness. Their minimally invasive procedures utilize the latest techniques to transplant healthy hair follicles from donor areas to the thinning or balding areas. This means natural, permanent hair growth, not quick fixes or gimmicks. Now, what can you expect, I hear you ask? Well, their experienced surgeons boast a 95% success rate in hair transplant procedures, ensuring visible, long-lasting results. Most procedures are completed in a single day with minimal discomfort, and it's a super quick recovery time. They meticulously plan and execute transplants to achieve a natural hairline and hair density that blends seamlessly with your existing hair. And every patient receives a tailor-made treatment plan based on their unique needs and goals. So take control of your hair loss today. Visit their website at growclinics.com.au to book a free consultation and tell them Brown Park sent ya.
This is the Brown Park Podcast with Christo and Dion. Now back to the show.
In today's world, if you have a different opinion of somebody, people are triggered because you don't agree with them, or I have this perspective which is different to yours, and I don't want to tell you my thoughts on things because I don't want to upset you. How do we navigate that now? I mean, because obviously you were, front and center of this at one point in your life where it was, these are my thoughts, contrary to what, popular belief is. How do we navigate that now in today's world when everyone's so easily pissed off?
Ask me that in a way that impacts you.
Well, okay. Well, for argument's sake, like, let's say a couple of years ago, Christo and I have different, polar opposites almost opinions to the way it all went down, right? And I think both of us were somewhat uncomfortable to have, a proper chat about it. We did, but it was always uncomfortable. It triggered me in certain points, and I'm sure as hell know I triggered Christo in certain points. But how do we have that diet? I mean, it's okay for him and I to do this because we're mates and we know that, we know each other. How do we do that with somebody we don't know, if that makes sense? Because I'm conscious that we're heading into a world where we're not allowed to speak anymore.
So
or speak our truth.
And why so what would that mean for you if you can't speak your truth, or your perception if other people can't speak their truth?
Well, I mean, for me, there's really, I don't know, there's no line. I'm not easily upset, right? But I mean, it adds a level of stress when you go into social situations. And I know my wife specifically, and even now, she's conscious of what Dion might say in an open forum,
sure.
in a group of people we don't know, because sometimes I speak my thoughts, and it can flow out just beyond my world, if you know what I mean.
So from what I just heard, we'll take your wife as an example here, and then we'll bring it back to you. So she's fearful of what others, fearful of what you might say that might trigger other people, or be in her world inappropriate for them to be able
Correct.
to hear, right?
Yes.
So there's a fear
Correct.
She has a fear of something.
Yeah.
Fear of potentially, and I'm just using her as an example and not her personally, but a fear of potentially losing friends.
Yeah.
A potential of upsetting people, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Gotcha. So there we go. So if we are people pleasers, right? We want everyone to be happy and get along. Why? Why is that important for us, right? Because you just mentioned that you two disagreed on the things that happen, but you're still mates, right? So we can have different points of view. You don't want to eat meat.
Yes.
I don't want to eat vegetables, right? It doesn't mean you fucking hate each other because of those choices, right? And at the end of the day,
exactly,
some people were all for lockdowns and mandates and shooting injections into people. Like, we've got to do this, right? And then there was another camp that was like, I don't think that's the right move for us individually or perhaps collectively at the moment, and I mean that situation was pretty heated, because what was the underlying driver for that on both sides? And obviously I'm being very blunt here with black and white and left and right or whatever it may be, but the underlying thing that encapsulates everything, including your wife, including fucking everything, and social media, and losing our ability to speak, is the fear of that. Right? The camp that wanted everybody to stay home and mask up and shoot this thing into their arm, they were fearful that perhaps we wouldn't get back to normal. And the other camp is like, fuck, if everybody takes this thing and I don't, then I have a fear about where humanity is going to go, because if they get away with this mass mandate of vaccines and locking people down, what is the fear of the potential of this if it gets played out once? Where could this potentially go down the track if this is successful? So both sides were based in fear. I guess where I'm getting at is, what are our fears? Individually, right? We all know what our fears are. Some people are fearful of sharks. Some people are fearful of public speaking. Some people are fearful of being seen.
Some people are fearful of sharks while public speaking. That's a big fucking problem.
So we have these fears, which some are warranted, some are adopted from our parents. You were talking, Christo, before about your long line of family history and the depression as a diagnosis. So there's fear in that we adopt or printed on, or fear that we get propagandized. All this information to create fear, right, around us. So what I like to discover, and I think it's a healthy thing to do, is identify what your individual fears are, right? Why am I worried about this? Why am I concerned about social media? Or why am I concerned about getting my point of view out? Or why am I fearful that it's going to get very difficult for us to have an open conversation? What is that fear in me? What is the basis of that? Because once we identify what the fear is, we'll be able to then find out why or where that originated into my being. And then we have a choice. Do we continue to hold on to that fear or belief about that? And I'll give you a great example. A friend of mine that is on social media and shares a lot of stuff. He's like, mate, you got to sign this bill. You got to stop this government tyranny of free speech that's coming. And I said, why do I have to do anything?
True.
What happens if this censorship comes in? You know, a lot of people won't be able to share their truth, but at the end of the day, why does that matter to you? It will bring it back to COVID, right? When the COVID thing came and the lockdowns happened, you know, I was just like, fuck, how cool is this? This is happening. I trust this process, right? I could still share stuff like perhaps question or ask what's in the vial that they're going to inject you with. Ask these questions, investigate, research it, use common sense, use your intuition, really feel into what this is about. We know as a fact there are side effects and there is risk involved with pretty much every medication that's out there, right? But they can be life-saving. So it's this really interesting space where are we allowed to question that? And 3 years ago, we were not allowed to question, or we were, but there were ramifications, right? Which I discovered. But I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
But because of the last 3 or 4 years, we now have people questioning not just the COVID vaccine. We have more people questioning and being curious about, are there other ways to be healthy these days than going down that original, just, I guess, medical route?
I'd like to go back to something that you were talking about. How did effectively being cancelled, if you want to use that phrase, affect you personally? Because you went from being somebody that was, you know, the guy next door, the biggest guy, one of the biggest faces on TV in Australia.
The guy next door.
MKR was huge. Week after week, you were there. You were on telly. You were red carpets. You were doing all of that kind of thing. And then when you had your opinion, and it obviously was divisive, how did the cancellation affect you personally? Or was it water off a duck's back and you don't give a fuck? Or were you kind of like, oh shit, now I have to pivot and try and do something a bit differently? Did it take a mental toll on you and your family? And just being so criticized at the time, what was that like?
It was a lot of fun, to be honest with you. It's
really?
Water off the duck's back, you know. And
you would have taken a financial hit as a result, maybe because of all the you contract. Yeah, exactly.
Huge financial hit. But when I started this game, you know, as an apprentice on the Gold Coast, I was earning $3.30 an hour. You know, like money is irrelevant to your state of, you know, it's important. You know, that's how. It's an exchange of energy, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't define who you are as a person, you know. And for me, you know, snakes and ladders. I was getting at the top, and all of a sudden, on the snake down the bottom again. You know, oh, cool. Yeah, I get to play the game in a different way now.
Yeah.
Let's roll the dice on different projects, different things. Let's go. You know, I got there once before, up to the top of what some people would deem success. You know, and then it comes down to what is your definition of success. For some, it's a mansion, or it's property, or it's this, it's that, and for some, it's going to bed and having a great night's sleep and being healthy. You know, and success for everybody is so unique and individual. For me, my greatest success is to have no fear and no stress, and as much as I can. You know, because I really. I thrive in this environment with not responding to external influences. So when this happened, I was like, oh, cool. I get to play this game now. I get to play the cancelled dude that had 2 million followers and was earning millions of dollars a year, to now being still myself, but with a different board, so to speak. Okay, I got hardly any followers now, so I can't promote any business, but I don't really have any businesses to promote anyway. All right, so how do you deal with this, Mr. Evans? Let's go on this journey. And previous to this, I mean, I was having a chat this weekend. We ran a men's retreat at our space this weekend, and I was telling the story of 20 plus years in the restaurant industry. I used to work 80 to 100-hour weeks, and I lived a life, you know, and I got to understand what my potential breaking points are, physically, emotionally, mentally, and you could say spiritually. So I've very well trained and adapted to copious amounts of stress on all facets of my being.
Mate, I owned one restaurant once for 2 years, and I will never do it again.
And I owned a bakery for 4.5 years.
Never, ever.
Yeah.
So in that industry, like many industries, you get to know who you are through putting yourself into positions that some would not like to be in, long hours, stressful situations daily. It comes with the industry, like many industries, like hospitals and other sort of high pressure industries. So being cancer was just like, oh, sweet, I got this. Mate, I couldn't give a fuck.
What about the family? How did your wife handle it at the time? Was she similar?
Oh, she's just the same. We've been on the same journey for a very long time. And so she's just like, sweet, let's go. What are we going to do now? And now we've put our retreat on the market this year. So where I reside in these days is more of the, instead of trying to work it out and planning everything, more of the mystery and allowing the space or the creative juices to express themselves however they do, instead of trying to control everything and keep myself safe. The next stage is opening up again into another growth spurt, into the potential unpredictability or the mystery of life. That's where I'm at.
Will that not include a massive amount of lawn?
Who knows?
This is the Brown Park Podcast.
Real fellas.
Big thanks to Grow Clinics for continuing to support the Brown Park Podcast. And has your confidence dimmed alongside your thinning hair? Do you find yourself avoiding mirrors, hiding beneath hats, longing for the days your hair danced in the wind? Well, you're not alone. Hair loss can take a toll, but it doesn't have to steal your joy. With Grow Clinics, you can rewrite your story. They offer a path to rediscover your vibrant self, a journey towards a thicker, healthier head of hair, and their innovative techniques delivered by compassionate experts can transform not just your appearance, but your perspective. At Grow Clinics, they understand the emotional weight of hair loss. They believe in empowering you with personalised solutions, honest advice, and unwavering support. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in rediscovering your confidence strand by strand. So don't let hair loss dim your inner glow. Take the first step towards a fuller, happier you. Contact Grow Clinics today for a free consultation and learn how they can help you rewrite your narrative at growclinics.com.au.
This is the Brown Park Podcast.
But it's absolutely necessary.
Can you build a wave park, Pete? That'd be good exponential growth for you to learn and a lot of fun.
A wave park.
Yeah, wave park.
Mate, I love going surfing. It's such a dance with nature, and I feel very free out there. And you were talking about testosterone before. I turn into a sort of a different version of myself when I'm in the surf. I turn into the hunter when I'm out there. I'm hunting the waves. Because
trying to find those peaks, mate, that'll kill you. I'm going to just go over there. Wait a minute, it's over there now.
But it's in our DNA as men that we were the hunters, and sometimes the women were, or quite often times they did that practice too. But for us, there's something about where if we don't live in a way that we have evolved to, and hunting was a very big part of our life, for however many thousands of generations we've been alive for. And if we don't do that anymore, then what's the replacement or the substitution for us in our day-to-day lives as men? And so for me, going into the ocean, I step into, or that's what comes through me is I'm hunting the wave. I'm out here for a purpose, and it's not do or die for me. Catching a wave, it's fun. It's not like trying to catch a wild boar or something with a spear, or a kangaroo, or whatever it may be in our past history. But that's the same exhilaration I get. So, low testosterone. There are many different things that lead to that for men, but I think it's the activities or the mindset these days in which we don't get to express our masculine traits that are ingrained in us. because we want to people please fucking everybody, right? I better not be too much of a leader. I better not be too much of this. I better watch what I'm saying, because we live in a very different world now. But our bodies don't know that. Our DNA doesn't know that, And a submissive male culture is something that, again, is perfect for us to go through at the moment to work out what our balance is in this realm. Same with the realm of the female at the moment. They're going through a huge transition over the last century in different parts of the world. That is perfect imbalance for them to work out what the future is for them and what makes them feel good, safe, protected, and what makes us feel good, safe, protected, and free. And there are some simple solutions for low testosterone. There are some simple solutions for ill health. And perhaps, listen, if you don't mind, Christo, depression is a really interesting, and anxiety is a really interesting thing, because it is not a natural thing for that we are designed to experience, unless there is something that we can learn from it and to grow from it, because the body never makes any mistakes. Going back to, there are no mistakes that we can make, and our bodies are never giving us mistakes. So things like cancer, things like heart problems, things like autoimmune issues, any illness, any disease, whether it be mental or physical, is our body's wisdom and our spirit's wisdom to give us the information and to give us basically like an alarm or a nudge saying something is out of balance. And I will continue, my body, to continue to tell you that you are out of balance until you work out what you are out of harmony with. And ultimately, every single person that has a disease, if they ask themselves, they already know why they've manifested it in themselves, right? This is where it gets very triggering for people. You already know why, right? You already know why. It's just accepting that truth that you already know, or remembering the truth that you already know, that will unlock. And that is the nugget of gold that resides in each and every one of us when we are diagnosed or we present with the symptoms of life, right? Now, we can blame our genes, we can blame society, we can blame the glyphosate on our foods, we can blame this, that, and the other. But again, coming back to complete ownership, okay, I own every part of my being, right? And that part of my being is telling me that there's something out of harmony. What is it? And if you sit with that long enough, or you are open to discover that long enough and deep enough, the answer or answers will present themselves either through the contemplation and inner wisdom or you will meet somebody or hear somebody talking about something which will take you on a journey of discovery, right? And generally those are the coincidences that change our life, but you have the intuition to follow them or follow your own inner discovery to find out, why am I presenting myself with this issue, right? And some people do not want to know why they are in a place of suffering physically or mentally or spiritually, because it's too fucking scary, and I do not want to admit it, that is why. But it's that openness to discover, and our bodies will, if we're not open to discover, our bodies will keep sounding the alarm bell, and potentially the depression, the anxiety, the cancer, the inflammation in our bodies or our spirit or our mind will continue to get louder and louder and more uncomfortable, disease, discomfort, until we choose to discover what that is, or we don't. And there's no right or wrong in this either. So if some people choose shorter lives, more painful lives, more suffering lives, that's sweet. Fuck, that's a brave human journey. Like, I congratulate you on your journey, you know, and other people fucking deep dive. I congratulate you on the journey. So when we can get to that place of non-judgment of anybody's life, of trying to fix anybody or trying to save anybody or feeling sad for somebody or celebrating somebody, if we can celebrate everybody for their uniqueness and the choices that they've made to get to that point, fantastic, and that's a very deep way of looking at things. And at the end of the day, we don't need to fix our physical health if we choose not to. We don't have to fix our mental health if we choose not to, if that's your path. And the last thing I'll say, because I think I know it's a very important part of this puzzle, if anybody's playing with this jigsaw puzzle of life, is the words that we use. Never underestimate the vocabulary that you use and the words that you use to describe yourself or your situation or your life story or your predicament or your feeling or your diagnosis. Never underestimate the power that your words have in perpetuating your diagnosis, your symptoms, your behavior, your beliefs, your perception of the world, your perception of yourself, your perception of others. If somebody asked me what would be the number one thing that you would recommend for people to do, first and foremost, I would say listen and feel into the words that you use to describe yourself and others at every possible time that you speak, because what we speak becomes a spell. And when we identify ourselves, and I'll use you as an example here, Christo, and I'm just using you because we've had this conversation. When you say that I suffered depression, that is a spell, and this might be triggering. It is a spell that you keep repeating, and I don't know, maybe this is the first time you've told anybody that you suffer depression.
No.
But if we continue that spell, our cells in our body are listening to everything that we say in our beliefs, and our bodies resonate with what we say. So if we say, I suffer depression, guess what? You will continue to suffer depression while you continue to tell people you suffer depression.
I don't know whether I necessarily agree with being able to talk my way out of depression.
But I didn't say that. So you've just already, you have a belief that you can talk your way out of this or not talk your way out of this.
I don't quite follow you.
What you just said is, I don't agree that I don't think I can talk my way out of depression.
Yeah.
Repeat that back to yourself.
Yeah. But it's like I've watched multiple members of my family over years with deep depression, before depression was even depression. Like my mother suffered it.
Yeah.
Like, horrifically. I've had aunties and uncles who have.
Do you okay, let me ask you this question, because what you said is interesting. Do you believe you can live your life depression free, without depression, whatever it being a part of who you are?
I want it to, yes.
No, that's not what I asked.
Yeah.
That's not what I asked.
Do I believe I can do it?
Do you believe that you, Christo?
Yep.
The way I said it before was the right way.
I think he's trying to say, do you believe that you can live a life without depression?
Correct.
No.
That's the spell. That's the story.
Because I've tried.
Try is a weasel word. So again, words, spells, try. What does try mean? As Yoda would say, do not try, you do, right? Or be, whatever. So that's why I brought up the vocabulary. It's such an overlooked thing, and I'm not saying to talk your way out of it, right?
Yeah.
I promise you that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's, as Dion asked you the question, you said no. So that's a belief. That's all it is. Our identity is made up of our beliefs.
It would also be an experience, because I've had it for a long time, and I've tried, like I've read about it. I've tried coming off medication. I've tried, and I know I'm using the weasel word, but I've tried to get myself to a point where I'm not wanting to end it all, despite having great wife, great kids, great job, great friends, great everything. It's still, I've tried the diet aspect. I've tried the positive mindset. I've tried the breath work. I've tried the meditation. I've tried everything. The one and only thing that has worked for me is pharmaceuticals. So, and this is in no way, I'm not having a go at you or whatever. I just wanted to question.
Let me
because I feel very passionate about it.
Yeah, no, I salute you, mate.
That's where the gold is. I love this conversation too, by the way.
I've heard this terminology, and I think it's very profound. And it's, your life is your medicine. Not Dion's, not mine. Your life is your medicine. Who you are, you have everything. Once you realize that you are everything and you have everything, that you are whole, that you are complete, that you do not need to do anything to be whole. You do not need to do anything other than be yourself to be unconditionally loved. You do not have to do anything in this world to unconditionally love yourself. So who you are is absolutely perfect at all times. Always has been, always will be. When we fall in love with all of ourselves, our whole being, not just most of it, and fuck, I wish I could fucking sort this fucking shit out. There's a but in there. So I guess where I invite you to explore is what unconditional love to yourself. Can you receive it from yourself? Can you give it to yourself without any conditions? Can you give it your unconditional love to others without any conditions? And the big one, can you receive unconditional love from everybody that you meet everywhere? You don't have to answer that or anything like that. I just invite you to ponder this and investigate it if you choose to, because often there's these wounds that we have that define who we are.
So do you believe that if I was to follow that path that I could then be rid of the depression?
Interesting wording that you just used, rid of it.
Or live a life free of it?
Free of it. Again, what is it?
Yeah, no, but you can't deny that it exists.
I'm not saying it doesn't, but what with your definition of again, we're going into the nitty gritty of definitions of things.
What I'm trying to do is it's hard for me to explain because it's it, I guess.
And I feel for you, brother. I empathise with you. I sympathise with you. I understand that this is so far an ongoing exploration for you, which is why you've created probably this podcast.
Right?
Originally,
yeah.
Right?
Because I've got depression, he's got ADHD.
Fantastic. Careful of labels is all I'd say. Diagnosis labels, Just I would question that as well. What do these identifying labels or diagnoses mean for me?
Do you think Christo could live a life without feeling these feelings that he's having?
It's what's the word I'm looking for? It is irrelevant to me whether he can or cannot. Should have no bearing whatsoever on the way you live your life, right?
Absolutely.
I believe everything is possible. Let's just put it that way. And I believe if we choose to that these opportunities, and I would see this as an opportunity instead of a problem.
Yeah.
I would see it as an invitation and opportunity because so much probably great stuff has happened because of this. And please do not take this the wrong way. But because of that, you are where you are. Again, your life is your medicine. You are where you are now because of it. And you will continue to be there because of it, if you choose it to be there. There's something you're gaining from having it. And this is probably the most triggering thing that I will say, and probably people will hate me for this. There is some gain or benefit from you, like everything else, whether it be cancer, whether it be heart disease, whether it be fucking whatever. There's something to gain from it. There's something that's benefiting you so far on this journey.
I've managed to get to a place where, like, I haven't felt it, so to speak, in a long time. But then I wanted to use it to try and help others that were feeling the same way and realize that they're not alone. Initially, when we started this thing about 3 years ago, and I'm on radio, so I was very vocal about battling it and how there's a million different ways to cope with it. Do you know what I mean?
Let me ask you this question then, and again, it could be the most triggering thing that I say.
No, man, you're not going to trigger me. I'm fine.
So, and I'll ask you this, and it's just based off of different people that I've met that have held on to that thing. So is there a part of you that believes that if you were rid of it or free of it completely, that you could still be talking about it like you do now?
Yes.
Perfect. Great. Tick that box then. Fantastic. Because the reason that I say that is because what is a common occurrence for people that are diagnosed with something talking about what they may gain from it. And I'm not talking about you, but
No, that's okay.
others that have told me their story and understood their story of why they continued to get sick. And it could have been heart issues or cancer or something like that. They gain something, and it could have been attention from a loved one, right? Oh, fuck, I'm in hospital and I've got the whole family here. Yeah. Fucking, they're all here around me. They love me. So they connect being sick with the love that they felt like they didn't have. So they become the victim of their bodies and their minds so that, one, their partner won't leave them, because he'd be a real cunt if he left me while I'm sick. So I'm going to stay sick, or I'm going to play poor, or I'm going to have this issue so that I can control another part of my life that I feel like that provides me safety and comfort. So when we start to lose things in our life, perceive to lose things, that we can then bring back those patterns, those beliefs. I am only lovable when I present with A, B, and C. That's why I was asking you before, is there something that, what is the benefit so far in this journey for you that potentially, even though it sucks, you think it sucks to have it, but what has it bought you?
It almost bought me divorce.
I'm not analysing you. I'm not analysing you, brother, or anybody else out here, but there are, and because we're all so fucking unique.
Yeah.
You are your own medicine, if that makes sense as well. Nobody can work this shit out for.
And ultimately, the choice is mine to make, right? So, and that's what it all comes down to.
Or not.
Yeah.
Or not. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's the journey and the adventure. I would say this, look at this as a greater fucking adventure. Like, what? I got to play this role in this lifetime. I have had depression or felt the effects of what people would call depression for a period of time. I got to experience that. Wow, I got to feel that.
I'd rather not have, but
yeah, but he's saying put a different lens on it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And again, no right or wrong, but I've probably taken up too much of your time. And
you're a legend, Pete. Thanks for your time, man.
Thank you, fellas. I love you both, and I appreciate you having me today. And thank you.
The Brown Podcast.
Why are you happy?
It's cool.